guys, it's Lauren Yates from Rave It Up here, and today we're going to be having a chat over Zoom with Gabrielle McClinton, who you may remember as the lead actress in PIPPIN the musical. Now, she has played this role for about 7 years now, so we have a chat about how she keeps it fresh and interesting for herself, as well as the challenges she has faced with the role. And we also talk about self-image and body confidence, and the education she has done to get to where she is today. And then we also talk about working at a meditation studio in LA, and then what it's been like to work on TV and movie sets versus being live on stage. There is so much to cover, so let's get into it now.
Hi everyone, this is Gabrielle McClinton, and you're listening to Rave It Up with Lauren Yates. So enjoy the rave. Hopefully I'll make it a raving good time for you. So enjoy, have fun.
Gabrielle, welcome to Rave It Up. It is a pleasure to have you on the show. How are you going today?
I'm good. I'm going well. I missed the Australian slang.
We were just chatting before we started recording that this has been in the pipeline for quite a while now, and I'm so glad we finally could figure out a time that worked for both of us. So thank you so much for making the time.
Of course.
I had so much fun preparing for this interview, I'm going to be honest, because in preparation for it, I actually had to listen to your interview that you did on a Broadway podcast. Everyone go check that out if you haven't already. And I found it so engaging to listen to, and I just loved your energy and your zest for life and your motivation and just your never give up attitude, which I love. You're very similar to me. You know, we never give up on our dreams. And I learned so much about you, and I wanted to actually bring up a few things that you did mention in the interview, if that's okay. You'll probably, you kind of look like you're like, I've forgotten about this interview.
I did. I was like, which one? But yes.
Well, I'm sure it will come back in your mind. It is just your story anyway. But I actually wanted to start from the beginning of your journey, if that's okay, and your journey into entertainment. For one, your dad is a lawyer and your mum is a doctor. That's very different from what you're doing now. What did your parents think about you wanting to get into entertainment? Did they support it from day one, or they wanting you to get a plan B, as they call it?
Surprisingly, my parents have been super supportive from day one.
That's nice.
I don't remember ever needing to be told to have a plan B or them not supporting me. I've always known that this is what I wanted to do, and they have been there by my side and been to every show from day one except for PIPPIN in Australia. Yeah. I think that was probably the first show they've ever missed in my life.
Well, but I'm sure they've seen it a lot over the time.
They are definitely PIPPIN'd out. Yeah. But yeah, they've totally been in my corner, and no one in my family's in the arts. I mean, no one. Wow. Definitely not in my immediate family, and I have a very big extended family, a lot of cousins, a lot of aunts, a lot of uncles, and no one is in the arts, except actually I have a couple cousins who do sing, but I was just kind of that rare breed where I just knew at 6 that I wanted to perform.
That is so beautiful. I love when people just know from such an early age and then they just go for it from 6. That's
is quite one young. Thing I know.
Yeah. That's one thing I remember.
Yeah.
And in the interview, you were mentioning, when you were little, you had so much energy, and looks like you still do, actually. And you always knew that, what you wanted to do, as you just mentioned. You used to put on shows with your cousins, or should I say you forced them to do it?
I did. Oh my God, I was so controlling.
That's the passion, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, I always wanted to perform, and my poor cousins were not into it. And I would just force them to put makeup on and make them learn all these musical numbers. I would choreograph it, and I would do the singing. Even though I don't think we sang as much. It was a lot of dancing. But yeah, I was a tyrant back then at that age. But yeah, I always just had so much energy, and I think my parents didn't know what to do with all that energy, so they put me into everything, from the art, the sports, to piano lessons, to, I feel that I tried everything. And I really loved everything for the most part, but musical theater was the big thing that really stuck with me.
Yeah. So were there any other careers that you wanted to pursue as well? Because as you said, you mentioned that you kind of liked a little bit of everything.
I mean, I really did like sports. I had done
Yeah.
gymnastics for, I think, 6 years.
Wow.
Uh, and I really liked that. I think for a second I thought, oh, maybe I could do this. But then I just went, no, this is insane and too intense on my body. And I don't want to do that. And then
Out
I
of
thought
fear of an
maybe,
injury or something.
yeah, no, I'm like, this is a lot. And then I thought maybe volleyball. I really like volleyball, but I just wasn't as passionate about it.
Hmm.
And the only other thing I thought maybe a lawyer, because my dad was a lawyer,
Yeah.
and I
You're a
feel like
strong woman. I could see that.
yeah, a strong woman, and I think there's something very performative about law as well. I'll
Yeah.
never forget seeing my dad do a case maybe when I was 10, and he was so performative. I mean, my dad is not an artist, but he could be if he wanted to be. I mean, you think I have a lot of energy? He's what, 67, and he has more energy than anyone I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think I definitely got a lot of my energy from him. But I remember seeing him try cases, and it was so performative. And the judge would always have to say, Mr. McClinton, just calm down, calm down. My dad was always saying, I'm just passionate. I'm just passionate. So
Get
that
my point across.
yes. But I think using that not for law, but for the arts. So yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Take a little bit of, your
Take a
mum,
little bit
your
of
dad,
it.
put it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Make
Absolutely.
your own thing.
Mhm.
And your parents put you into dance lessons around age 6. And it is, I'd say, quite rare to still be doing something that you were doing since you were 6. Has your dream ever changed or morphed into something a little bit different over time?
I wish I could say it has,
I'd
but
say it's a good thing that it hasn't.
it hasn't. I mean, I really love what I do, and I've never wavered on that passion. And the only thing that's changed is that I think I've broadened in my scope of the things that I want to do in the arts. Musical theater was a thing I started with doing, but now I'm getting more into a lot more TV and film stuff, and as well as I would love to direct one day and produce and writing here and there. I think just everything involved in the arts has opened up for me, and it's really exciting to go into these or go down these new avenues now and see what else is out there. And that only helps me in what I already do.
Yeah.
So they all feed into one another, which is great.
Well, I'd say in this industry, you kind of have to do it all. With how competitive it is now, it's kind of really good to just do a little bit of everything and make sure
It's
that
kind of annoying sometimes. Sometimes
it
it's
is, yeah.
You feel like maybe I don't want to be a writer, but
Yeah.
you feel like you have to do all of these things in order to have more opportunities. And I feel a little complicated on that, but at the same time, I think it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to,
Yeah.
flex your skills.
Especially like directing and producing, we need
Yeah.
those people, when everybody gets in the industry, they just want to be in front of the camera and be center stage. But, we do need directors and we do need producers and writers.
That's where you really have the power.
Yes.
Behind. So we need more of us behind there.
Well, you already controlled your cousins, right? And forced them to do stuff, so you'll just go into the directing. I say in the nicest way, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So from 8 until you were 13, you went to this amazing musical theatre summer camp that you just rave about. No pun intended, guys. And that camp sadly doesn't exist anymore. And over your career, you've kind of expanded into, as you said, a lot of different things in the industry. I was having a think and I was like, oh, this is a smart question. Have you ever thought of starting up a camp like that and, bringing it back again and helping the next generation of performers?
I haven't necessarily thought about that yet, but
I brought it to your mind now.
I know, now I'm like, oh God, I'm going to start a camp.
Just add it to the long to-do list.
Yes. But I've taught a lot of master classes to kids. I've gone back to my high school and have talked to the kids. I've taught a little bit on my own, especially during the pandemic. I've taught some kids in the neighborhood, but I've never really thought about anything on that grand of a scale. But I definitely love kids and I love working with kids. And I feel so lucky that I had an incredible upbringing with the arts and incredible teachers who are still in my life to this day. And I think it is really important to talk to the younger generation and give back. And so I definitely want to do more of that. I just need to figure out in what kind of ways I want to do that.
There you go. Another idea for you.
I know. Oh, yeah. God. The to-do list is just so long.
Well, you're such an incredible performer, and, you know, you'd be the best person to pass your wisdom over to the next generation. So, yeah, I really hope you do it. That's fantastic. I'm really glad that, as you said, you were teaching through the pandemic too, because I know that, especially in this industry, how many people struggled because, you know, your main job is getting up on stage and you don't have an audience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did that really affect you mentally as well? Because I know a lot of people went through a lot of mental health struggles during that time.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, this year has been nuts for so many different reasons. And, you know, on one end of the spectrum, it's been awful and sad and chaotic and full of grief. But then on the other end, it's been very revealing and it's been very inspiring. And I've learned so much about myself. And I've actually been very grateful for the downtime to have this space. Because when you're doing a show 8 times a week, I mean, you're tired all the time. All the time. I mean, I don't know what it's like to not be tired. You're tired all the time and you really just don't have time. And, you know, people sometimes say, oh, you only work for 3 hours of the, you know, of the night or of the day. And I said, no. You don't understand. I mean, you wake up in the morning and you're, is my voice there? Is my voice there?
I hope it is.
And the whole day you're pretty much preparing for the night show and you have to conserve your energy. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, they say public speaking is people's biggest fear. Like, no one wants to public speak. So imagine performing and bearing your soul in front of thousands of people a night. That's really intense. And I think sometimes it can be easy to assume, oh, well, you know, you love doing this, so you just get up there and do it. But no, I mean, you're walking around without any skin at all times. And it's very vulnerable and it takes a lot out of you. And you have to do it over and over again. So it's just a lot of, you have to take care of your mental health and your body and everything. So I think it was really nice to have this time to just really check in and also to reframe how I want to take care of myself and the kind of performing I do want to do or how long I want to do this, you know, exact kind of performing. What's going to make me happy? Finding some kind of balance. You have to have balance in this industry.
Yeah.
And I can say no more.
Oh, so. I love that metaphor of just, you know, just no skin. It's it's very, very point on there. I love it. Yeah. I'm glad that you're looking after your mental health though. And I was going to talk.
Yeah, I mean, we have to.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more later on too, because I know that you were definitely struggling through, you know, at the beginning of PIPPIN in that regard too. But I also wanted to quickly chat about your schooling as well before you do get into PIPPIN and all that. The different schools you've been to over the years have been interesting to say the least. You know, you make it a really great story to tell for sure. The high school you went to was a private girls' school in Bel Air. And I watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I don't know whether it's anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was, just with not as many Black people.
Yeah.
But it was for half a semester I went there.
Yeah. Well, then you changed to a performing arts public school, didn't you?
Yes.
And that just felt a lot more at home and it helped you with your performing arts, which was great. And then for college, you went to Carnegie Mellon.
Yes.
Now, very well-known, prestigious school. And I loved in the interview.
I'm an engineer. Did you know that?
I know, right? What the hell? So from being at a private high school in Bel Air to then Carnegie Mellon, how did you deal with what you refer to in the other interview as the bouginess of it all? Was it your parents that kept you grounded or?
Yeah, I mean, I had gone actually to private Catholic school my whole life, basically from first until 8th grade. And then I went to this all-girls high school for I guess 3 months. I was there 3 or 4 months. And I'd gone there because it was, I did like the school, and they have a very strong academic program. And I was really into volleyball, and they had the top basically volleyball program. But then I started doing the volleyball, and I realized these girls were way better than me. And I went, I don't have the drive or the passion to try to be as good as these girls. And their arts program wasn't really that existent. And I knew I wanted more in that regard. And then my dad just picked me up from school one day and said, here's the application, you're auditioning for this school. And I was just, no, I don't want to go to this school, because I had gone to the school and visited, and it was on a college campus, and everybody was so artsy, and I just thought, oh my gosh, everyone's so weird and different. Then I realized, okay, well, I'm weird and different, so I guess this is the place I belong. And yeah, I transferred there, and then I just had the time of my life. I had so much fun. I met amazing people, and it was half academics during the day, and then you would do your major. So they had theater, visual arts, dance, music, and you would do that in the evening, latter part of the day. And I had some friends who had gone to Carnegie Mellon for drama, and I didn't know anything about that school. I'd never heard about it. I said, Pittsburgh, like, what's happening? And I ended up going to the school to audition, and I just knew, I'm like, I have to go here. This is where I'm going. I'm like, this is it. This is it. That's probably the second thing I know in my life that I knew I wanted to do. I had to go to this school, and I got in, and those 4 years were just incredible. The training is just top notch. I feel that I have such a strong foundation in what I do because I went to that school. And I mean, it was not easy. They really broke you down. There's definitely probably a lot of things that would not go over well in this day and age. But at the time back then, there was, they were really hard on us, which really instilled a lot of good discipline and ambition, and how to deal with the intensity of this industry that you're about to go into. I mean, I'm actually glad that we were forced to be so exposed and just had to be so vulnerable in front of everybody all the time, because it really did give us a thick skin to enter into the industry. Yeah. So I loved that school. I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, I still have, during the pandemic, my whole class, there were probably 24 of us. We've been on a group thread for the past year, and Aww. We just started it during the pandemic, and it's just so nice to reminisce. It's actually our 10-year reunion this year. And so it's just so nice, all the different stories, and everyone's still the same. I mean, everyone's changed, but everyone's still the same. So it's really comforting, and they're my family. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that time in my life.
That's great. And obviously, as you said, it's obviously what you needed to learn for the industry. And I'm guessing some colleges, universities are missing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I'm really happy that I went to a university where you could take other classes, even though I didn't take any other classes. I wish, look, that's the one, but that's the one thing. They have such a good business school. I wish I would have taken a business class, or I just wish I would have taken some other classes, but we were in such a bubble, and the schedule was so intense. We just didn't really have time to do anything else. So it was very insular in that sense, which was great, but also a little bit isolating from everyone else. But I still was happy to be in a university, so it wasn't always, you're still on a big college campus, and there were kind of sports a little bit. But yeah, it was great, and I fell in love with Pittsburgh. I never would have thought that, but Pittsburgh was freaking great.
Great, going around and traveling different places.
Yeah.
And who knows, there's so many online courses these days that you could still do a business degree or something if you wanted to.
I know I could, and I'm probably not, but
probably
yeah,
not. You're busy enough. When you moved to LA, you got a quote-unquote normal job at a meditation studio and loved it. You started on your spiritual journey then, meditation, yoga, also some therapy that helped you go through your tough time with PIPPIN, which I'll bring up a little bit later on as well. Did you already meditate before you got that job, or did you just learn it when you were there?
I actually cannot remember when I first started meditating, but I think it was when I got to LA. I think that's when I first started it. I had done yoga for a long time, but meditation, I think when I went to LA, so funny, I'm literally at my mom's desk and there's like it says mental illness, just, just sitting there as we're talking about this. But yeah, I started meditating during that time, and my best friend, I was living with her and she got me into it. And then that's when she was working at the meditation studio, and then she got me a job there, and then it just kind of took off. Meditation basically just took over my life and changed it for the better.
So what did you do there? Did you guide meditations and things like that? I feel like you got the right voice for that.
I worked the front desk. I had to learn some program. I can't even remember what it's called, but I had to check everybody in and, deal with the money, bring flowers in the morning, turn the lights off, clean the bathrooms. But it was really nice because while they were leading meditations, I was able to work on auditions at the front desk or read. I was able to still work on my craft while they were doing meditations, and I also got free meditation, which was great.
Yeah, and it's a great environment to be in. Instead of a real stressed out environment to work in, it's so chill.
It was so nice. I would still work there if I could.
Well, it's there if you ever need it.
I know. That's nice to know.
When I did see you in Pippin in Sydney recently, I just could not get over how amazing your arms looked.
Oh,
do you also go to the gym and lift weights, or is that just from yoga?
Honestly, and my friends will probably roll their eyes when I say this, but it's literally because I did gymnastics. I did gymnastics for so long, and when I was 8, I started bulging. I swear to God. I started getting bigger, and they stayed. I swear to God, they just stayed. And I also think it's just in my genes. I'm very athletic. I have a very athletic build, and I think it's just how I'm built. And I think I've always been athletic, so it just stayed. And I do yoga, so yoga helps with the arms a lot. But I never would lift weights. I mean, you ask anyone who knows me, we would take fitness classes. I said, no, I'm not lifting weights. I didn't want to look all muscly. I didn't want to look like I had big, big arms. I mean, I hated my arms, to be honest, because I thought they were just so masculine. But I quickly got over that, and I realized there is beauty and strength, and now I love my arms. I'm like, this is who I am. This is my body, and it is what it is.
You're made that way.
I am made that way, yeah. And during Pippin, it was great because our acrobat trainer, Preston, he was training me to get back in shape, and I never really had a training session to get in shape for Pippin because I usually had kind of just done the show back to back. And this was the longest stretch, I think 4 or 5 years where I hadn't done it. And especially coming from the pandemic, I mean, I was so out of shape. I was so weak, and he got me on this great regimen where I was doing so many push-ups and pull-ups, and I actually grew to love it. I mean, I used to never do push-ups. I used to hate them. Now I really like doing push-ups. I mean, it's really great to feel strong. And doing with your P's, I had to have that strength. You had to, before I just thought, oh, I can just do it fine. But now that I'm older and having had taken so much time off, I really realized, oh gosh, I need to build up this muscle and I don't want to get hurt. So yeah, it ended up, I'm really grateful for knowing my body better now and appreciating it, and also embracing feeling really strong.
Yeah, thanks to Pippin. Otherwise, the rest of us were like, that's so unfair that she's just genetically like that.
I tell everyone, it's the Pippin diet. I mean, you can do whatever you want, and as long as you're doing Pippin, you'll be good.
You'll be good. You'll get the body of your dreams.
You really will. You will.
And speaking of Pippin, let's talk about that a little bit more as well now, because it has been a huge part of your life, to say the least, and it really made you the person you are today. You started off as an understudy before the lead, and then you just did decide to leave because you were so burnt out, in a bad place, felt lost, depressed. And you even mentioned before that it felt like it was the lowest point of your life at the time. But looking back, it's when you grew the most.
Oh God, did I say that? I'm like, did I say all these things?
In the other interview.
Oh gosh, wow.
Do you think that this could have all been avoided if, the places that you studied at prepared you for that part of the industry, as well as the thick skin as they did teach you?
Well, I feel that I'm everything happened the way it was meant to.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy that I went through everything I went through because it definitely made me stronger and I wouldn't be the person I am without all of that stuff. But I do think in training to be an actor, an artist, there does need to be more discussion on mental health and how to take care of yourself and what to do when you're not working and just how to take care of your energy and your spirit and your emotional state in this business because it is intense and it is a lot. And more people are talking about it. I mean, I can't believe so many of my friends, starring in shows, dealing with anxiety, depression, just so many different things and the things that they have to do in order to combat it. And people don't talk about it enough, but it's starting to have more of a conversation. And I think people are starting to start groups where you can talk about stuff like this. But I think it also needs to start in the room with the team, starting from the top up, from the producers and the directors, really taking care of the environment and making it a safe space. And I'm not saying people need to be coddled. I think you do need to have a thick skin and in order to proceed further in this business. But I also think there is a delicate balance between pushing someone to be their best and abuse. And I think, definitely in the past, it's been a little bit more on the abusive side at times. And I think that we just need to find a balance, how to push people to be their best, but because you really want them to be their best. I think when it can steer in the wrong direction is when it's coming from somebody's ego or, kind of these more negative qualities, which bring out the worst in people, especially in a high stress environment. You really see people's dark sides and it makes people act in ways that aren't really them. It's just stemming from some external force or external pressure. And I think if we can all just chill out, like it's okay. It's okay. Like we're just playing, we're just telling stories. I know there's a lot of money on the line and maybe when I get on the other side of the table, I'll think differently. But I think there can be a nice, healthy way in order to run a business, run these shows. And I think we're on our way. I think we are figuring that out. And I really saw that when I was in PIPPIN in Australia with Suzanne, our producer, she and John Frost, and they were just really incredible. I mean, especially Suzanne, we would talk all the time and she was so chill and so easygoing. And I just felt that people in Australia had a really good work-life balance, which is not really a thing in the US. And I mean, if I tried to email people on the weekends, forget it. I wasn't getting in touch with anyone. If anything, Dan would say, hey, you want to go to the beach this weekend? I was like, what? My producer wants to go to the beach? Which is so rare. So it was really cool to have that connection because if they're calm, then you're calm and you're not so stressed out. But if people at the top are all stressed out, it just starts, plummeting down and it just affects everyone. So we just got to keep, things healthy and good.
Oh, I'm really glad I brought it up then, because especially for, audiences and stuff, they don't think about that. And it's only just because I'm interviewing that I do think about that stuff. And, a lot of people think this job is just incredible because you get to travel the world and be on stage and things like that. But even the traveling the world part really takes a toll on your body, doesn't it? And you don't get to really enjoy the places you travel to because you're, as you mentioned before, you're so exhausted all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one thing I wish that I would have done. I've been on I've toured a lot. But every show that I've been in has been really hard. Like I think I'm waiting for that one time I do a show where I have like the really easy track and I can just chill and then I can go out during the day and do everything. But when you're doing a really physically demanding show, you don't have the energy to go out and do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, it's good you're looking after yourself now. And do you also have other things like on the side of working that kind of gets you centered again, and some other hobbies maybe that you do to make you feel really good and make you happy again?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the meditation and yoga, consistent exercise has always been a very great thing for me. I've been reading so much and I love reading, but I realized in the past decade I've barely read. And so now I'll just spend days just reading, and it's just been so nice and catching up on TV and movies. It's such a great distressor for me, and it's also what I love to do, so that,
Mm.
doesn't hurt. But I've been able to spend a lot of time with my family. I think that's been the biggest thing for me. I've realized during this pandemic, I just want to be with my family and my
Yeah,
loved ones. It's not that deep. That's what's most important to me.
I'd say it's
And
deep.
yeah, oh, I guess it is. Yeah. But as long as I have that, then I'm good. And, I like to indulge. I love food. I love eating. Uh,
Who doesn't? Yum.
that always makes me feel good. And during the pandemic, sometimes it's gone a little too far. But yeah, just, being in nature as much as I can, and, just being with friends. It's all my friendships have really deepened during this time, which has been really beautiful. And I love talking, and talking to them has just been a great escape, and
Mm.
something that's made me feel very nurtured.
Yeah, everyone needs someone to talk to. Don't keep it
Absolutely.
bottled up, guys.
You can't be talking to yourself all the time.
Yeah. Well, if you live by yourself through the pandemic, I'm sure there was a lot of that too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately. And we're playing the character, the lead character in Pippin for so long. How do you keep it fresh and interesting for yourself? And I guess try to also stay in the moment so that you don't forget your lines? Because that must be quite embarrassing when that happens.
Oh my God, I actually live for it when people forget their lines because it's something different. You're like, oh my God, something's different. You're like, what's going on? Like, I'm the worst because I live for when people break character. It's very unprofessional of me, but God, there's just been some moments in certain shows where people just lost it, and then we all lost it, and there's just nothing more cathartic and freeing than all of your cast just just the shoulders raising and just trying not to laugh. But oh gosh, what was your question?
Well, especially for you too. You have so much dialogue as well.
Yeah. Well, luckily, Pippin, it's so in my body. The lines are just there. That really is the only show I've been in where I just don't have to think about the lines.
You
I
just
really
zone out.
like, yeah, I really can zone out, and I will just know because when a show's been with you for 7 years and you've said these lines hundreds and hundreds of times, I mean, it's there. So
Yeah.
that I was lucky in that sense. I didn't have to ever think about lines or worry about lines. But luckily with Pippin, it's the one show where it is fresh every night. I don't know why, because it's the same script and it's usually the same people on stage with you. But there's something about that show that just makes you play so much. And I think it's because the script is very seemingly simple. There's not a ton of dialogue, but there's so much in between the lines. It's actually a very brilliant script because it's full of uh, so many metaphors and just reading between the lines. And I think everybody interprets it differently. So it's just one of those shows where I feel that you're able to try different things all of the time and just play. It's so weird doing that show. I can't really remember performances ever of that show because every night just felt so different.
Mm. And it's like
So
a mini circus too. So,
it's
every
a
night
full
is just going to be different in that regard too.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think the circus element really keeps you on your toes. And I think that's what makes it really fresh because, especially with acrobats, they would do different tricks certain nights. And they were kind of always in and out and subbing people out and changing things up. So you always had to be on your toes. And Pippin is really hard. So we didn't always have the same cast for most of the shows. So things were just always different. You just never knew what to expect. And you also had to be very present because it's a dangerous show. I mean, we have fire, people, throwing themselves around, risking their lives. There's a lot
Out in front of you and
I mean, yeah, and
make sure you're on your mark.
yeah, I mean, being on the trapeze, all of this stuff, you just never know what's going to happen. So it's weird. You have to be so on it, but at the same time, you're so trusting. I mean, people just be flying over my head and then I'd be hanging upside down. I just went, okay, we're just doing it. But if you started to think about it, then you went, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, I should be properly looking around while I'm talking just to make sure I know what hits me.
I know, but there's something about that show you just trust and you don't think. You just go. I think that's the only way you can do it.
That's a lot of trust in the acrobats above you.
Absolutely. They are spectacular, so thank God for them.
They definitely are. I'm just like, whoa, look at that trick. Look at that trick.
I know. I don't understand. I don't get it.
And this recent Sydney run as well was a bit of a different show than all the others for you because of COVID and the restrictions and even rehearsals, which normally take place in a studio, were actually on the actual stage, which I think is actually pretty cool. Like, was that a lot easier for you because it's the actual stage you'll be performing on?
It was and it wasn't. It was because we didn't have a ton of time to rehearse, so it was great that we got to be on stage. And Pippin is so hard that we killed a lot of time by being able to just get on stage and block things right away. So then we had more time during tech to do other stuff. Yeah. So I was grateful for it in that sense. But on the other side of it, there's something about being in a rehearsal room that is it's more intimate and a safe space, and not everyone's watching you all the time, and you have a little bit more space to discover and explore. And obviously you can do that on stage too, but when you're on this huge stage and everyone's in the house, it just makes you feel like you have to perform all the time, where sometimes you don't want to feel like you have to perform. You just want to be able to play and discover, and it feels easier to make mistakes in that regard. So in that sense, it wasn't the best, but I think in this situation, it was the best option for us.
Definitely. And did you have to re-go over the script and all that? Because even though you've played it for so long, you had a very big break. Or is it just like riding a bike?
No, I mean, I thought it was going to be really, not easy, because Pippin's never easy, but I thought it was going to be, oh yeah, like I've done this, like great.
There's millions of times.
But then I went, no. I am, like, this show is in my body, but also not. And I kind of had to just strip everything I had learned, because there's been so many different versions. So we kind of did a hodgepodge, if that's the word. I don't know why that word came out. Hodgepodge of all of the different versions. And I had to really relearn a lot of stuff, which was actually great, because I felt for the first time I was creating my version of the leading player and my version of what this show means to me. So it actually was great to strip away everything I knew and just start over, sing things differently and, have a different mindset. I'm older now, so I just have hopefully a little bit more wisdom on things, and definitely a lot more experience. So it was a huge challenge for sure, but I'm so happy with the result.
Well, that definitely kept it fresh and interesting for you then.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it did, for sure.
Well, you did a fantastic job. As I said, I loved the show. Wish I saw it again.
Oh gosh.
Maybe in the future, who knows? But you have already played it a lot.
I think these feet
you
are done.
Hang that hat up.
I think it's time to pass on the torch.
Yes.
An amazing time in my life, but it's definitely, I think it's time to let her go.
Yeah. And speaking of working out earlier as well, I'm sure we can both agree as women, and men experience it too, is self-consciousness about our body image. And in Pippin, you wear like really tight black pants and knee-high boots. Do you sometimes feel naked when you go out on stage, especially when you first had to do the role?
No.
Oh, that's great. Look at that body confidence.
You know what? Everyone has their things and their insecurities and stuff, but I think when it comes to body stuff, that's been one thing that I feel that I've always been able to embrace about myself. And it's weird, on stage I feel more free having no clothes on than I am in real life. Like, I would so much rather
take an audience come view me.
I would rather take my clothes off on stage than like by myself. So maybe that's not real body confidence.
I don't know about that.
I know, I'll have to think about that one. But yeah, no, I think it's great to, I love how sexy the show is, and it's not in a way that's, oh my God, like the women are naked, showing off their bodies. Like, no, it's more just, look at these beautiful bodies and let's embrace them and let's show them off. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes people can be a little judgmental about women, you know, not wearing as much clothing or showing off their bodies and why do they look skimpy or this. But I'm just like, whatever makes you feel good. If you want to walk around in a two-piece and that makes you feel good about your body, I mean, why shouldn't we be able to, you know, dress how we want to dress and honor our bodies? That's what, you know, God gave us, the universe gave us, you know, these bodies, and we should be able to do with it as we want. And, you know, it's, yeah, everyone embraces it how they want to. And I think that should be allowed.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. It's great to hear that you know, feel so good about your body, that you're so comfortable out on the stage. And because a lot of people, you know, I've met so many people in musical theatre that are even shy, and then they go out on stage and they just feel so confident. And I thought, you know, definitely with a confident character like you've been playing for 7 years, that might have been the case. But it's great to hear that you're just like that all the time.
I mean, not all the time. It's actually, I remember in college, my girlfriends would always say, oh my God, Gabby, like, wear some tighter clothes. But I always just wanted to wear loose fitting clothes and just a bag. Like, I never wanted to dress
you were
sexy.
Comfortable. That's what matters.
Yeah, I think I definitely choose comfort for sure. And I think on stage, it's a chance for me to explore a different side of myself and, you know, wear the sexy, you know, clothes. And I mean, one show I was in a bra and underwear for a scene, and it was so free. And I was like, oh God, this is great. But in real life, I actually would not walk outside with just my bra and underwear. So I think that's what's great about theater, though. It gives you a chance to just let loose in different ways that you wouldn't normally do in your real life.
See, that's stuff we don't think about. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I've learned so much about you today. It's fantastic.
I've learned about myself too.
You're welcome. This is just a big psychology session.
Yes.
Therapy for you.
Yes.
Now, before we move on to our Rave It Up game that I mentioned to you before we started recording, that you're also very excited about, you have also been in TV shows and movies as well as being on stage. Like you're in The Mentalist in 2013, love that show, and the movie Fun Size with Victoria Justice in 2012. I'm jealous, by the way, because I really like that movie. What is it like being on TV and movies versus being on stage? And do you have a favorite? Because I did hear that you loved doing a live play once before.
Yeah, I did a show called Peter the Starcatcher, and that was one of my favorite things I've ever done. And the only professional play I've done, which is weird because in college, all we did was plays for the most part. So that was really nice. It felt that I was going back to my roots a bit. But yeah, I mean, TV and film, I think it's very exciting to me because it's something that I haven't done my whole life. You know, I'm the opposite of a lot of those stars who grew up at 6 or 8 doing commercials and then get on TV shows. And, you know, now they have Oscars now at my age because they've been doing this their entire life. And I'm the opposite I just am that with theater. I've been doing theater my entire life, and it's just been the trajectory. And then I went to school for it, and then I went to Broadway. And, you know, I really feel like I feel that I've hit my stride with that. And I think there's something about TV and film that is just so exciting to me because it is so different. Just in the medium sense. I mean, acting is acting at the end of the day, in my opinion. But there is something so nice about TV and film, the intimacy, and that has been something that I have grown into as I've gotten older. I mean, when I was younger, I was just, all my energy would just splat out. I was just so big and just rah, 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 rah. And I think doing those TV and film earlier on in my career, it actually kind of helped me to rile myself in a little bit, bring myself in a bit. And so I think I've actually brought that to the stage. I'm able to not be as big in a way, but just be truthful and in the moment, and not having to splay out my energy, but like keep it inside, and let it go out as far as it authentically wants to go out.
Yeah.
So I think having those TV and film experiences helped me with that. So, theater is definitely my first love for sure. I mean, I love the stage. I feel most at home on stage. I feel like it's my purpose to be on stage. I love being on stage.
Yeah.
But I can feel, it's changing a little bit, and I just want to be able to do both and go back and forth. And I think there's so many beautiful things in both mediums.
Definitely. Is it daunting having like the cameras in front of you all the time though, where you don't have that on stage?
No, not really. I haven't done it enough, to be honest, to really have a strong opinion on it. But I had shot a web series, I guess, a year and a half ago, and I really didn't even notice the cameras. It just felt we were talking just how we're talking now. And I think just the more you get used to it, then it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
If anything, actually, when I got to PIPPIN in Australia, it took me a moment because I had been in this TV and film class, and I've been auditioning for TV and film, so I was always doing camera work. So when I got on stage, I just wanted to be just like this. And I just remembered, oh my gosh, Gabby, you're playing the leading player. I mean, you need to command this audience, and you need to command this huge space. And I remember it took me a bit. I was like, whoa, for something that felt so natural to me, back in the day, it actually felt very foreign. And I didn't want to be huge and project and take up so much space. So it took
very unlike you.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get back there. So I think it's just, finding that balance between, dealing with your energy and just balancing out those different mediums.
Well, I can't wait to see you in some more TVs and movies in the future.
Girl, me too. I cannot wait. Hire me.
Oh, I wish I could, but hopefully the cinema will help you.
Yes.
You'd be hired straight away if I had that power, but...
Much. I appreciate it.
Speaking of the future, do you have anything planned that we can look forward to from you?
I do have some shows in the works.
Guessing you're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah, not really allowed to talk about. But hopefully once theater opens up in the fall, then that will get things moving. And there's a few things I'm excited about that are supposed to happen in the fall and the winter. Some really exciting, relevant shows that I've been lucky to be a part of for a while now that are now hitting the ground. So stay tuned.
Okay, cool. We just have to maybe go follow you on social media, I'm guessing, so we can keep up to date.
I'm not on social media.
Oh. Well,
but I do have a website that I
keep in contact with Gabby, guys, and she can let me know, and I'll post it.
Yeah. I do have a website, and I keep that updated all the time. So you can find out GabrielleM.com. Very easy.
Everyone go to that website then. Bookmark it on your computer.
I'm gonna have to go update it.
That must feel very freeing not having social media. If I didn't do what I do right now, I wouldn't have it either.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's not for me. And I totally get its purpose. I wrestled with it for a long time. I mean, I've only been off of it for, I guess, a year now. And Instagram was the only thing that I had. I got rid of Facebook probably 7 years ago or something like that. But it's just, I don't really think I need it. And I know that it helps you a lot, especially in my industry. And it is a way to get things out there, especially if you have a huge platform. I mean, it is the new way, and it is a huge way to market yourself and get things out there. But the way I see it, the people who will want to see me, they'll figure out a way to see me.
Thank God you got the website.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's kind of cool. It leaves a little bit of mystery. You're like, oh, this person's on social media, so now I have to, if I really am interested in learning about someone, I need to actually do some research and, find out more about them without having, comments and all of that stuff kind of flooding your perception, because I think it can really cloud your perception of things. There's just too much stimulation.
Definitely.
So, we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll be doing a show in a year and then I'll be like, oh my God, I'm back on Instagram. But we'll see.
You'll just pop up.
Yeah,
well, people just have to check this interview out and your other ones that you've done. So, so they can learn some more stuff about you.
Yes.
It is now time for the 2-minute hot seat, Gabby. It is a famous game here on Rave It Up. And it's very, very simple. It's just you answering questions about yourself. So I would hope it's easy for you. So I'll just ask you questions and you just have to pick your preference. So it's like dogs or cats, singing or dancing, things like that. And you have to answer as many questions in 2 minutes as possible. And then we'll see where you sit on the leaderboard up against everyone else that's played the game on the show.
Oh, God. I just have to beat Ainsley. That's all.
Okay. Well, Ainsley, let me look. I put him on the list. He answered 49 questions in 2 minutes. So he's sitting 39 on the leaderboard, but with it being over Zoom, it's, got a little bit of delay. So it's not as fast as it would be if we're in person. But so I'll give you 2 minutes 15 like I did him. Does that sound fair?
Okay. Sounds fair. Okay.
All right. So we've got to beat 49 questions.
Okay.
Oh, this is intense. I like when people properly verse each other. It's like, woo!
I'm like, okay, I have to beat him.
All right, let me get my timer out.
Okay.
And, all right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Rap or rock?
Rap.
Rock or pop?
Pop.
Pop or country?
Pop.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Sun or rain?
Summer.
Skiing or snowboarding?
Snowboarding.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Sunglasses or hat?
Hat.
SUV or convertible?
Wait, what? SUV?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, SUV.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
PlayStation or Wii?
Wii.
Clean or messy?
Clean.
Singing or dancing?
Oh God, both. I can't pick that
Dogs
one.
or cats?
Dogs.
Italian or Chinese food?
Italian.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Kim Kardashian or Scarlett Johansson?
Scarlett Johansson.
Johnny Depp or Will Smith?
Will Smith.
Mall or online shopping?
Online.
Cinema or home movie?
Home movie.
Ice cream or gelato?
Ice cream.
Cake or cookies?
Cake.
Cookies or cookie dough?
Cookie dough.
Family or friends?
Oh God, family.
Christmas or your birthday?
Birthday.
Night or day?
Day.
Bus or train?
Train.
Straight or curly hair?
Curly.
Eye color blue or brown?
Blue.
Vampire or werewolf?
Werewolf.
Texting or calling?
Calling.
Los Angeles or New York?
Los Angeles.
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Snow or surf?
Surf.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Harry Potter.
Family Guy or The Simpsons?
Simpsons.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
French fries or chips?
French fries.
Burger or hot dog?
Burger.
Guitar or drums?
Guitar.
Leather or denim?
Denim.
City or country?
City.
Biting your nails or picking your nose?
Picking your nose.
Tattoos or piercings?
Tattoos.
Backpack or suitcase?
Backpack.
Pen or pencil?
Pen.
And we're out of time! Wow, girl!
So stressful. And there were so many things I totally said the wrong answer. I went, no, why did I say that?
Well, you actually answered so quickly. I was like, oh, wow, this is really good for Zoom.
Oh my gosh. That was fun.
How many questions do you think you answered in that time?
Like, my gut says I don't feel like I answered a lot. I don't think I beat Ainsley.
I know the feeling. Someone's done the game on me and I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel like I answered that many at all. But at the same time, you feel like you're going forever.
Did I get 40?
Ooh, a lot more than 40, honey.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Did I get 50? 60?
You got 54. Woohoo!
Wait,
So
I beat Ainsley.
You beat Ainsley. Woohoo! By 5 questions.
Work.
And
yes.
you are sitting number 34 on the Rave It Up leaderboard, and he's 39. So you beat him, girl.
But that's all I needed to do. So I'm
absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Woohoo!
Thank you, Lauren.
If you ever come back to Sydney, Australia, all right, we'll have to meet in person and we'll do it again.
Yes.
Try to beat. You could verse yourself. You could try to beat your old score.
No, I love a competition. So yeah, bring it on.
I love doing that game. I hadn't done it for years, and I had so many of our audience members being like, "Where did it go? We love it. You know, it's a great way to learn more about our you know, idols and the people we look up to."
Yeah, no, it's great. Yes. Great game.
Yeah, cool. I'm glad you liked it. Now, we are unfortunately getting to the end of the interview, Gabby, but as a closing statement, and it's probably the most important question, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
Oh, God. Just chill out. It's not that deep. Just relax. It's all okay. You don't need to control everything. Just let what is be what is and enjoy the ride. Because you just don't know what's going to happen. I could not have planned the way my life has turned out, and I'm so happy I couldn't have planned it because it's been so much better and more beautiful and varied than I could have ever thought. So just accept what is and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I love that. I hope everyone else takes that on board too. Just
chill out. It's all good. Chill. Yes. Yeah. Australia really helped me with that, I will say.
Yes.
I had an incredible time.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm having so much FOMO. I miss it so much. It feels so surreal. I don't even feel that I went there. It was just very magical and just amazing people that I just feel got ripped from my heart. I miss so much. So yeah, I definitely will be back at some point.
Awesome. We'll stay in touch. And if you ever need a little bit of, Aussiness, you can Zoom me anytime, all right?
I can't wait.
I've had so much fun today.
The other day I was talking actually and I said, oh my God, yeah, I just am having heaps of fun doing this. I said heaps. And that is not something I say, but where did I learn that? Australia.
Yeah, go Aussies.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, Gabby. I really appreciate your time, and I have had so much fun. You know, you were such an awesome girl to chat to, so thank you.
You too. Thank you for asking me. This was great.
You're welcome. I hope you liked all the questions. I definitely did my research.
No, good on you. Good on ya.
Good on ya. Well, look at us. We're really rubbing off on her. I make sure I always do my research. That's one thing about, some interviews that I listen to and I'm like, oh my God, that interviewer has done no research. And it's frustrating. It's like, you do your work. If the guest is going to give you their time to be on your show, the least you can do is put the time into researching them, and you can actually get deep answers that way instead of just, you saying stuff that I could find out on Google.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Just having surface answers where we got really deep today, and I think a lot of people will learn a lot from it, so thank you.
I hope so. Thank you
for exposing your soul, my love. I loved it. And as I said, let me know when you're coming to Sydney again. I know with hopefully the restrictions will ease very soon so we can do overseas travel.
Yes.
And hopefully, next time we'll do it in person. Otherwise, you're welcome on the show anytime. We can do Zoom, Skype, whatever.
Awesome. Great. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate it.
Keep in touch, okay?
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's interview. If you'd like to check out any of our other interviews, you can visit our website, raveituptv.com. And also remember, our podcast is on all podcasting platforms. Just type in Rave It Up and also tell your friends. If you haven't gotten our book, Knowing What I Know Now yet, that is also on our website, raveituptv.com, and is available worldwide in paperback and ebook versions. But today, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!